Hello and welcome into another episode of Tobacco Road and Abroad. My name's Gareth Parsons, joined by Aiden Moore, and we've had quite the interesting weekend that we have to talk about. Some high highs and some very low lows, and
Yes.
honestly, I think some heart to heart honesty conversations that need to be had
Do we
after
want
the
to start off
weekend.
with the NFL? Do we want to start off with the NFL?
We
Let's
can, you
get
know what? Let's go and do that.
let's start this off. Okay. So let's address the elephant in the room, or at least the baby elephant, or I don't know, the Carolina Panthers. I think that we do you think we should call Bryce Young a bust now? I don't think he's a bust, but I think in order to be a bust, you have to kind of be like done year one. We've just given him so many opportunities now. We can't really call him a bust, but this is not a good game. This is bad. This is very bad. Um, Offensive production from the Panthers has been pretty lacking. Bryce Young is kind of costing us the game. I mean, we were able to get one rushing touchdown in the first quarter, and then that was our only scoring opportunity throughout the entirety of the game. That was the only score we got. The Saints were able to kind of shut down the run after that, and if you shut down the run for Carolina, it's pretty much over. Bryce Young only gets 124 yards passing. He does go 17 for 25 in his passing attempts. So at least a decent enough percentage with like checkdowns and stuff. Throws one interception and then just not making good decisions in the pocket at all. And I think our line is good enough now to the point where we can't really blame like Bryce Young not having enough time. I'm just not liking what I'm seeing from the Panthers right now. And I we were both really high on them going into this week, but we did have the caveat and like the hold up, like, hey, anything can happen, and the Panthers need to like fight like their season depends on it, like every single game, because it does. And we saw what happens when they don't. I mean, Tyler Shaw. Had 282 yards passing, two touchdowns. He had a pretty good game, but like,
We made Tyler Show look like a competent quarterback.
yeah,
But I mean, we all knew the defense was the issue, but I'm beginning to think that Bryce Young's time in Carolina needs to be over. There are a lot of people on TikTok. This is my response to everyone I've seen on TikTok saying that it's the Panthers' fault for not turning the entire playbook over to Bryce Young. We've seen what happens when we do that. We cannot win turning the entire playbook over to him. That's all I'll say.
yeah,
We need a quarterback we can trust to open the entire playbook up open to. Like open the entire playbook up open. Whatever. Ugh, I can't talk. We need a quarterback who we can trust to open up the entire playbook too. We can't just. I like Bryce Young. I think he could be a good quarterback. And hey, with everything that's been happening lately with so-called busts, I still think there's a chance he could be a great quarterback in the NFL one day. Just
hmm
not with the Panthers. Just not with the Panthers, or at least just not with the Panthers right now.
yeah,
Is my take.
yeah,
I don't think, and I know this is gonna sound weird because everyone's gonna like want to draft a quarterback at the draft. I don't think that's what we need right now. I don't want to go through another inexperienced quarterback. We need to trade for a guy who has experience. And I'm not saying we need to become a part of the Aaron Rodgers 1 year experiment and go get Aaron Rodgers. No, absolutely not. Like, no, we're not doing that.
yeah.
You know who I'd be okay going and getting for a year?
Ooh,
Jameis Winston.
he's actually starting
Jameis,
this week.
yeah, he's starting this week after Jackson Dart's in concussion protocol and Dayball doesn't want to start Russ. So
We are going to witness peak this week.
we are. He's gonna have 3 good weeks and then he's gonna have a 6 interception game. to balance out the 2 touchdowns he throws each of the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
But I don't know. Carolina just needs a competent quarterback. Aiden and I've kind of hinted at it on here. The Panthers have been kind of winning in spite of Bryce Young,
Yeah.
or at least that's what it's felt like. 24 years, or as Aiden said with Andy Dalton, but I'll say with Bryce Young, 24 years of age and passing yards.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I should say for Bryce Young, 24 yards is his longest passing attempt and age.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
anything else you want to add to that game, or should we get going into some other NFL games this weekend?
I mean, the less said about that, the better. I mean, just not a good showing. But speaking of disappointing showings, how about the Broncos against the Raiders? Broncos once again winning kind of. I don't know what to think of Bo Nix. Like, I
They
mean, he
can't keep
does.
getting away with this.
They can't keep getting away with this. But the Broncos only put 10 on a very uh, lackluster Raiders team and are able to come away with the win 10-7.
How much did we put on the Raiders? Jesus Christ. Didn't we blow them out, or was that last year?
I don't remember. Yeah, we didn't play. We haven't played them this year. That was last year. It was the Patriots though that did play the Raiders. If you were kind of
Yeah.
yeah, but uh, Bo Nix once again has a very mid game, throws 2 interceptions, but 1 touchdown's just enough to get him by. And Geno Smith also regressing major in a big way, far from his 2020 self. But just if I'm a Broncos fan, I'm a little bit nervous moving forward, just because granted this team finds a way to win, but I don't know how they're going to hold up against teams like the Chiefs or the Packers or the Chiefs again and the Chargers again. Like, they're doing okay right now, but like they're just I I don't know what to say about them.
I mean, just to be devil, like one could argue that we've seen Chiefs teams and Patriots teams of the past win in this manner, or win in similar manners, but I don't think it was to quite this extreme. Saying
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
to quite this extreme.
hmm
I mean, I still think the Broncos are a good team. I mean, they've won 8 games. They're 8-2. I think they have they are tied for the best record in the NFL right now. But like you said, I don't think they can keep this up.
Yeah.
Other interesting games from over the weekend. One that particularly caught my eye that just kind of it shocked me a little would be the Dolphins and Bills. This was just like the Bills every once in a while, like every couple weeks, drop an absolute stinker, and there's the Patriots game a few weeks ago and the Dolphins game this week. I mean, the issue here was just a slow start. I mean, the Bills looked unstoppable at the end of the game, but the problem is you cannot start out that slow, and your defense cannot also give up 400 yards to the fucking Dolphins. Never mind the 3 turnovers. Never mind the 3 turnovers, but you cannot give up 400 yards to the Dolphins and 174 rushing yards to Devon a chain. Like that's just absolute Swiss cheese at that point.
Yeah.
Anything else out of me? This was just not a good showing. The Bills just did not show up.
Not a good showing at all. I mean, I wouldn't say there's any red flags though. I mean, the Dolphins had this game handled like from almost the get go. Like, I was really surprised by the halftime score, and Bills only really got their 13 points off of like kind of garbage time touchdowns. Josh Allen, I mean, looked decent through this game. I wouldn't say he's like the main reason why they lost. It's just like this Bill defense really needs to lock in for the next like couple games, especially uh, with the teams like the Buccaneers and like the Steelers on the horizon. Like you kind of need to lock in. But moving forward, um, Bears get a win over the Giants. Giants blow another fourth quarter lead. At this point, I'm not even surprised. Like this Giants team has they've have some like serious upside, and I feel like we've seen more. Like this is the most upside we've seen out of a Giants team for a while, but they're just unable to finish like these games. And the Bears with Williams are just able to keep their composure in the fourth quarter and watch the Giants collapse kind of at an accelerated rate. Um, it's becoming a meme now, just like seeing like the win percentage for the Giants going into like the fourth quarter being like 98, 97%, and then just plummet all the way down to zero in like the final 5 minutes of the game. And Bears just are able to get it done, and I like this Bears team. They're looking pretty good, especially I think Williams. He reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers, especially, and I think he's kind of starting to come into his own right now. He has a really strong arm, and I like him a lot. Like as the future quarterback for the Bears. I think he is going to be their franchise guy, and I'm excited to see him continue to develop even more. But it's just tough loss for the Giants. Um, Moving on, let's see. Colts get the big win over the Falcons in overtime in the Berlin game. Danny Jones was able to pass for 255 yards, and Taylor had an absolutely stellar game and rushed for 244 yards and had 3 touchdowns. I don't know how MVP conversations go now, especially with running backs, but Jonathan Taylor is definitely one of those guys that you can point to saying like he definitely deserves it. And if you want to make a case for it, this is definitely going to be the game for it because him and Jones, I feel like just have a really good complementary system going for each other. When one's not doing so hot, the other one's able to kind of pick up the slack. And I feel like that's really allowed Daniel Jones to accelerate and I like excel. And I feel like Taylor has really kind of gone back to his early 2020s form, where people were saying that he was the best running back in the league, but he was just kind of held back by number one, his line, and also the injuries that he was mounting up. I'm glad to see that this Colts team is really starting to like get it together. Um, let's see. You want to talk about Patriots Buccaneers?
Yeah, Patriots Buccaneers. I actually got to watch this game. I was over at a coworker's house. It's a great show. I mean, both teams played a hell of a game. It was back and forth and incredibly entertaining. And I think I hesitate to say the Patriots are back to their former greatness because obviously this is just the first year, and we've seen teams kind of come back year to year, and they look like a Super Bowl contender. Like for instance, take the Lions from 2 seasons ago. What were they like 12-1, and then they got bounced like second round.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but I'm saying this very much feels like the Lions team 2 years ago, the Commanders team last year. Young, exciting team with an upside. They definitely have a bright future. Travian Henderson had one hell of a game. But with both of these teams, I'm really impressed with both of them. They're never really out of a game, and they're able to shift momentum very quickly. One thing that I thought was interesting is New England's defense stepped up in a big way. So towards the end of the game, the Patriots have the ball. They're trying to run out the clock, and they're driving. and they get down to like 3rd and goal, and Drake May throws an interception in the end zone. And you can very much feel the momentum starting to shift. You're on the road. You just gave away a turnover. This offense has looked very potent in the second half, but instead the Patriots defense stepped up not once but twice and was able to shut down the Buccaneers. Buccaneers were able to get a touchdown to Tez Johnson in kind of garbage time, but it was a little too late. For as many chances as the Buccaneers had in the fourth quarter to take the lead and even bring it back, the Patriots held firm. And I think a lot of people are going to give credit to the Patriots offense, but like I said, I think it's their defense that stepped up in a big way this year. I mean, obviously with their offense, what they've been able to build around Drake May, and they've built a pretty potent offense. But I think this defense is going to fly under the radar for a lot of people, and I think that's where a lot of people are going to overlook the Patriots is not their offense but their defense. So I think their defense is what's going to surprise a lot of people, and I think that'll take them a lot further than people think. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, Buccaneers obviously still a good team. Bucket still my favorite to win the NFC. I think NFC East. I still think they'll win a few playoff games. They're not going to be like deep run, but I think they'll win a playoff game or two.
Yeah, NFC
That's
South.
my take.
Yeah, I feel like
NFC
they're
South, sorry, not East.
uh I mean, in a division that's kind of been up and down, I feel like they're still a pretty steady favorite. Um, let's see. Uh, Seahawks like absolutely dismantled the Cardinals. This game was over in like the first quarter. Like, uh, I'll. I mean, like it was just it was done. Like this Seahawks offense was just kind of um, popping off. But also just like the mistakes made by Arizona with the turnovers and just all the like the fumbles that really kind of cost them. But this Seahawks team is running like a well-oiled machine, and this game also proves Sam Darnold doesn't need to have an elite game to win with this team. 178 yards passing, one touchdown, one INT. Jacoby Brissett outplayed him statistically, but it just really didn't matter with like most of the touchdowns coming in like what eventually was garbage time, and just the Seahawks defense kind of putting the pressure on Arizona and winning this one substantially, like by a substantial margin. Uh, Keeping it with the NFC West, Rams get a big win over the 49ers. Mac Jones, he looked pretty good this game. Like any quarterback in the San Francisco uh, offense is going to be looking pretty good. I feel like that's what really made Brock Purdy excel, and I feel like a lot of people are considering him an afterthought now. I don't know what the quarterback dynamic is going to be for this team, but either whichever way they go, I feel like they're set. But Matthew Stafford has one hell of a game, throwing for 280 yards, 4 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford now has a career win percentage of 500 for the first time in like forever. He could next week, if he leads the Rams to a victory, he will have a positive win percentage for the first time in his career. So um, I'm excited for the possibility of that for him. Kyron Williams had a really big day rushing, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. This Rams team is a absolutely well-fueled offensive machine, and San Francisco was just unable to catch up, and their defense was just unable to stop this Rams team in any substantial way. Which is why I'm still like I believe the Rams are going to be my favorite to win this division. I think the 49ers and the Seahawks definitely have a really good shot of um, making wild card appearances, but I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of going with the hand that's hot, and I feel like that's the LA Rams.
Sorry, had a little cough, but yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to feel good for Matthew Stafford. He's been patient. He's waited his turn. I mean, he did his best with that Lions team. And his record at the Lions is not exactly what's helping his overall record, but got to feel good for him. Obviously, Rams. I agree. They're kind of the hot hand right now. I feel like they're honestly kind of the trendy team, and not in like the media sense, but like at least what you're seeing on like Instagram or like ESPN. But I think they could, if they win again next week, could become kind of a trendy pick to win the NFC and possibly like to be the NFC representation in the Super Bowl. But
Hmm.
you never know. I mean, obviously there's still some flaws and some kinks to work out. I mean, obviously not from this game, but a little bit of question marks. But outside of that, I think the Rams are a team that people need to look out for. I mean, no one's going to overlook them, but I think no one's going to pick them to go.
Hmm. Sunday Night Football, Chargers get the big win over the Steelers. Steelers just did not look good. Aaron Rodgers regressed a lot in this game, and this is what you're going to get with a Aaron Rodgers-led team. Like, there's going to be games where he's just absolutely wheeling and dealing, and and sometimes it looks like he's the best quarterback in the league, but then he's going to have these like 42-year-old moments where he's only thrown for 161 yards, two interceptions. I said this before in the earlier podcast. The games where the Steelers are primed to lose the most are the games where Aaron Rodgers has more than one interception. And we see the continuation of this trend again. And I just have a lot of questions when it comes to like this Pittsburgh defense. But I like Pittsburgh is the Steelers are just one of those teams that I'm not too hard on because I feel like they always even out. You know, like the 9-8, 10-7 season is still very much alive for them, and I think they're going to achieve it. But just not the best look. But Chargers, Justin Herbert has one really good game with 220 yards passing, one touchdown. Very good rushing attack by Kamini Vidal with one rushing touchdown. And Lad McConkey, Konecki,
McConkey.
McConkey, uh, receiving 107 yards off of four receptions, one of them being a touchdown. Really good option for Justin Herbert, and I'm liking this Chargers team a lot moving forward, especially in a AFC West division that I feel like, although like the media, or not really, the media is still kind of going hard on the Broncos, but with a lot of questions being like, are the Broncos legit? How's Kansas City actually performing this year? They're still a very steady hand right now, and I like them a lot moving forward.
I agree. This NFL season's been kind of interesting when it comes to stuff like this. But speaking of teams that I'm kind of, not very high on, and I see a lot of glaring issues with, look no further than the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, this should be one of the best teams in the NFL. On
Yes.
paper.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, they're not. They just haven't been able to get it done this season. I mean, Eagles get an ugly 10-7 win over the Packers. Both defenses played well, and neither quarterback had necessarily a bad game per se, but it's just neither team could really get anything done. Um, Obviously, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, probably two of the best running backs in the league, had pretty slow games even by their standards. 60 yards for Barkley, 74 for Jacobs, respectively, on like 22 carries. That's not a good rate right there. But I think it just came down to in this game that it was just kind of like a slow game. The defenses were dialed in, and they kind of the teams leaned on the run game, and that didn't necessarily, pan out. I mean, both quarterbacks had over 10 incompletions. I mean, Jordan Love had 16 total incompletions. He was 20 for 36. So it's just the defense was playing out of its mind for both teams, and it was just the offense just wasn't quite there. But particularly for this game being at Lambeau, the Packers just didn't look very solid. They didn't look very smooth. They didn't look like a well-oiled machine. They looked kind of they kind of looked very disjointed and just kind of lost. If I'm being honest. I know they're still 5-3, or they might be 5-4-1, but who knows? I think they're 5-3-1. But I mean, they still have a good record. They still probably, are in the running to win the NFC North, but it's not a good showing, and that losing 10-7 on the road is not a good look, but doing that in front of a home crowd in the prime time, I'm sorry, I've got a lot of the types of questions Aiden has for Pittsburgh, multiply them by 2 because they don't have the history of making the playoffs just over 500. So
Yeah.
I'd say no, not panic, but alarm bells should be going off in Green Bay.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I know they got the win. I still have some alarm bells going off for the Eagles. They're just not looking as good as they were last year. I feel like there's a lot of issues when it comes to the passing game. I like Jalen Hurts as a passer, but there just seems to be some, I guess, uh, issues when it comes to like the locker room, and there's a lot of questions when it comes to like who's getting the ball, and like it doesn't seem like there's the best, like a really good environment going in Philadelphia, but that's almost tenfold for the Packers right now. On paper, these two teams should be the best in the league right now, and Philadelphia is starting to show it a little bit more. Their record is better, but I still have questions for both of these teams. I have questions whether Green Bay can make the playoffs, and I have questions of whether Philadelphia can replicate the success that they had last year with winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But
Any other games you want to kind of highlight?
well, we could talk about Week 11. Got some
Oh
pretty
yeah.
interesting matchups. Starting off, we have the Panthers versus going to the Falcons. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The fact that a 5-5 team is like underdogs against a 3-6 team right now, on paper, is just not a good sign for anyone. But I think that I like this line a lot. Panthers, I just don't think after losing to the Saints, I'm just not high on them whatsoever. I do see a world in which they can win, especially with a Falcons defense that has kind of been a little bit suspect at times. Um, I think if the Panthers really pick up the run rush game and Bryce Young does not blow it, the Panthers could win. But I'm just not high on Young leading this Panthers team on the road, and I kind of got to tip this one in favor for the Falcons.
Yeah. Falcons definitely have the edge here with it being an away game for the Panthers, but I think that the Panthers have had a little bit of a reality check from the Saints game, and I think they're going to go back to it. I mean, obviously, I know I just spent like 5 minutes shitting on the Packers, but winning in Lambeau is a hard thing to do. I
Yes.
mean, I will give the Panthers that. So I'm going to give them a little bit of an edge here. I think the Panthers can do it, but the defense is going to have to be playing like it's been playing the past few weeks.
Hmm.
Like they're going to have to be getting stops. They're going to have to be, they're going to have to play sound defense. And I think the Panthers, obviously, the 30-0 win speaks for itself. We do have the potential. I think on paper, if Bryce Young plays even a somewhat decent game, we are the better team on paper, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to say this. I don't think the Panthers' defense is what kind of held them back against the Saints. I mean, holding the Saints to 17 points, if you're able to hold a NFL team under 20 points, I feel like on paper, like your defense is not the issue.
The issue is just is Bryce Young going to be able to do enough? And that's my main question.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll have a bounce back game, but overall, like I said, I still think his time in Carolina is numbered. So I'll take the Panthers in a slim, ugly victory. So
Let's see. Uh, we have a Madrid game against the Commanders are going up against the Dolphins. Apologies to all the Spaniards for subjecting you to this game. Um,
especially in the Bernabeu, oh my God,
yeah,
legendary stadium.
yeah. But I I'll give this one to the Dolphins. I mean, Commanders have just been on a slide lately. Jaden Daniels I still believe is going to be out for this game. Yeah, I mean that injury was really bad. He's probably out for the rest of the season. Um,
Surprisingly, didn't need surgery. Like
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah. Somebody's going to be investigated for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Boy, I sure hope somebody got investigated for that blunder. But um, I'll give this one to the Dolphins. Uh, yeah, not much to say about pretty. The
I
only
will as
highlight,
well.
the
They're the
only
hot
interest,
team right now.
yeah, the only interesting part about this game is its location. So
Yeah. We're sorry, Spain.
sorry, Spain.
At least it's not Germany's payback for the Holocaust like last year. Oh my God. They
Yeah,
they, they got even a worse end of the stick. But hey, Panthers won that one.
let's go. Yeah, but um, with 1 o'clock games that actually mean something, Bills versus the Buccaneers. This is a 1 o'clock slate game that I'm actually pretty excited for. Bills looking to bounce back from a pretty bad loss to the Dolphins, and the Buccaneers. They haven't looked horrible, but they've just kind of been on a little bit of a slide. So both teams looking to kind of right the ship right now. I got to give this one to the Bills. I mean, they're at home. I still like the Buccaneers a lot, but I just feel like with how many injuries have plagued them, I I see this like next 2 games being a rough little slide for them. But after the Bills and the Rams, I feel like they're going to be going on a pretty substantial run, especially with teams like the Cardinals, Saints, Falcons on the horizon, and the Dolphins later in the season, and then the Panthers twice. Might be pretty easy for them, but we'll see how they are, how the Panthers are. The Panthers are week by week. You can't really predict a Panthers game
At the
months
moment.
out at the moment. But I'll give this one to the Bills. I think they get back on the right track.
Yeah, I'm giving this one to the Bills as well. It's at home. I know that didn't mean anything in the Patriots game, but it's at home. Um, they're gonna be looking to get right, particularly at home in front of their home crowd. I'm not saying the Buccaneers are gonna give up without a fight. Absolutely not. I think this is gonna be a tough, hard fought game. And it's a shame that I have to miss this for a freaking swim meet. But I do like my job. I'm not shitting on my job. I'm just saying, like, dang, this is one I would watch. This is one I would watch.
Hmm.
But good game over. I think it'll be a good game, but I'm gonna go with the Bills here. I think they've just got a little bit extra on that extra edge of having it at home is gonna push them over the edge. So I'll go with the Bills in this one.
Bears versus Vikings also looks like a pretty solid game. But I got the Bears winning this one. I know they lost the first iteration of this game, but Bears have kind of been getting hot, and the Vikings have been slowing down. Expect a big game out of Williams, and this offensive attack from the Bears is really going to give it to the Vikings. I I had the Bears. It says it's Minnesota's favor, but I have the Bears upsetting the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears as well. They're kind of the hot team. They've kind of figured it out. They've kind of ironed out the kinks, if you will. This Vikings team, I'm kind of unsure on. I like JJ McCarthy. I think he's he's panning out, and I think he's still a project, though, in my opinion. He's going to pan out, but I think he's still a little bit of a project. So give me the Bears. They're kind of trendy and hot right now, and they're on a roll. So give me the Bears. One game I'd like to highlight, and I think this is honestly, I think, one of the better games of the week. Obviously, the Sunday night game is quite interesting in my opinion. I think that's going to be a good game, and I have some hot takes about that. But one game I'd like to highlight from the kind of the middle of the day slot is the Seahawks Rams game.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be an absolute dogfight. This is gonna be interesting. This is a test for both these teams. Not saying they've had an easy schedule, but I think this is a unstoppable force and an immovable object meeting right here. I mean, Sam Darnold, 2,200 passing yards on the year, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Matt Stafford, 2,400 yards, 25 and 2. Both these teams have potent rushing attacks. Both these teams have decent passing games. Passing game for Seattle's a little better, but this is gonna be a dogfight. I'm gonna actually take Seattle in this one. I know I've been hyping up the Rams, and I do think the Rams are one of the better teams in the NFC. I think they could possibly be in Super Bowl contender tier, and a lot of people I think are overlooking that. But for me, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. They looked pretty good this past weekend, and they're on a little bit of a roll. They haven't lost on the road yet. Rams are 3-1 overall at home. SoFi at
Mm-hmm.
times can be a little hard to fill out, so I think that's going to take away a little bit from the atmosphere aspect. So give me the Seahawks in this one.
Mm, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I really like the Rams in this matchup. Um, Nothing against the Seahawks, but I just think the offensive power from the Rams is a lot more impressive than that of the Seahawks. Um, I like this rushing attack a lot more, and I feel like it's going to complement Stafford's really solid, almost MVP caliber season. Has 25 touchdowns on this year, only 2 interceptions. Sam Darnold has also been looking really good, but he just hasn't been putting up the same type of numbers that Matthew Stafford has. And in the duel between these two quarterbacks, I'm going to go Stafford 100%, especially since I think he has the better receiving core. Overall, Seahawks still look extremely impressive. I like them a lot to be a wild card pick, but give me the Rams in this matchup.
Now, obviously, like I alluded to earlier, this Sunday night football matchup, I think, hot take, this is a wake up call for the Eagles. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is a 6 a.m. work alarm while you're still hungover level of rude awakening. If I'm
Yeah,
being honest, I've
yeah.
got the Lions in this one. I think the Lions are gonna run through them like shit through a tin horn, to quote the great Nick Saban. Not the score wise, but I think at least when it comes to the stat sheet, I think the Lions are gonna run through them like shit, like a shit through a tin horn. But give
Yeah,
me the Lions.
I mean, I like the Lions' mentality more. I feel like they're definitely have the better culture for the win. But both of these teams, in my opinion, despite their records, I feel like have just been slightly underperforming to their level of success that they could potentially achieve. But I just think the Eagles are going to be coasting a little bit more in this one. So I agree with you. I got to go with the Lions.
Looking at the other games throughout the day, are there any ones you want to? I mean, obviously, there's still some more we're probably going to talk about. We probably should talk about, but are there any ones you want to highlight?
Uh, I'll just give quick ones that I want to highlight. These are both 1 o'clock games. Might not be like the most flashy ones, but Packers Giants, I think, is going to be a really important game just because I think the Packers really need to show out for this one. Like, you can't screw it up against the Giants right now. So give me the Packers in this one. Jameis Winston is going to be starting, so is going to be peak to watch. But give me the Packers in that one. And another 1 o'clock CBS game that I think is going to be pretty interesting. Bengals Steelers for their second iteration of this matchup. The first iteration this year was already really good, but I'm excited to see this again. I think maybe the Steelers might come away with this one at home. Um, like both of these defenses seem to struggle against each other, so I'm expecting another shootout. But I think this one's going to go in favor for the Berg.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think Pittsburgh's got that one. I think just kind of like we should probably just mention this game just because of the two teams' records. We got the Chiefs and the Broncos.
Absolutely.
Um, I don't even know about this game. We've got a stoppable force versus a movable object in this one to kind of create that contrast.
Give me the Chiefs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Broncos, you're on fraud alert. And until you can beat a team substantially that you should beat substantially, I'm not going to be high on you whatsoever. Your record does not fool me, Chiefs. On paper, you're a better team. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a good game. Especially, he's going to show out Bo Nix. So give me the Chiefs to win this one.
The Chiefs, despite missing many players, still have a lot of offensive firepower, and they're able to be consistent with it. So this is one of those games the Broncos cannot start out slow. And I think they've started out all 10 of their games slow, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a perfect storm right here. Give me the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs in this one.
And we will
Any more games you want to highlight?
we will not be watching this because it's on ESPN, but we will not care. It is the Cowboys versus the Raiders. Um, Give me the Cowboys, I guess.
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys. This Raiders team honestly may be worse than the fucking Titans.
Yeah. It will be a tough watch for anyone who does not have anyone who actually has ESPN right now. But
Yeah.
anyway, want to move over to the college football?
Certainly. Let's definitely move over. College football this past week. It was a good weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch a lot of it because of the mouse. It's continuing to hoe us.
Hmm.
But we definitely there was some interesting games. Lots of chaos going down in the ACC. But I'll let Aiden get it
Hmm.
started with the Carolina game, seeing as we are a North Carolina-based podcast. So
All right. I
I'll
mean,
let you take
starting
that
off,
away.
UNC gets another win against Stanford. Um, Listen, my broad summary of this game. Carolina was in control for like that third quarter, fourth quarter. They were in pretty good control, and don't let the stats fool you. Stanford came back, but I never really felt like there was never really a moment where I was like, oh, Stanford could really like pull this one out. Once Carolina got their offensive production moving, I felt safe. And Gio Lopez has a pretty solid game. 203 yards passing, 18 for 25, two touchdowns, no picks. Gio Lopez looked pretty solid. Um, a rushing attack from Carolina was just not there this game, but it didn't really need to be. And the defense remained pretty solid. The Elijah Brown stat line, I'm not going to let that truly uh, like don't let that fool you. Like that touchdown came kind of in garbage time. Yeah, there's like 284 yards passing, and on any other day, I'd say that's not a good look. But Carolina gets the win. I'm not gonna like hold it against them like too much. Um, uh, I'm pretty confident in Carolina moving forward. Do I think we're going to make a bowl? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to keep it a buck? No. But listen, we got some rivalry games coming up. We're closing out the season with Wake Forest, Duke, and State. Madness is going to ensue. So I'm excited for it, but I'm keeping my expectations low these next couple games. But good win for Carolina. I'm glad to see that we can actually win a game. And it kind of makes like those two losses that we had not seem like flukes where things got close. Like it seems like we're starting to put things together now, and that we might actually have a below average football team instead of a bottom 200. Not even 200 teams in the FBS. But it seems like we can actually field a team right now. So I'm not too negative Nelly right now. But keeping it in the Carolinas, App State loses to Georgia and Southern in a very slept-on rivalry in the Sun Belt. I believe the rivalry is called Plain Hate or
Deeper than hate, I
Deeper
think.
Than Hate, a classic. What is it? Southern Conference matchup happening in the Sun Belt. Georgia Southern gets the win. App State kind of was out of this for a little while. They just started off pretty slow. Georgia Southern really able to capitalize in the beginning, kind of taking it out of App State's hands, but App State trying to crawl back a little bit in that fourth quarter. They make the scoreline look a little bit better than it actually was, but Georgia Southern kind of proved me wrong. They had a good win on the road, which I did not know if they were going to be capable of doing, especially in this rivalry setting in the Sun Belt where anything could happen. But a good win for Georgia Southern, tough loss for App State. Moving on to other North Carolina matchups, Wake Forest versus Virginia. Gareth, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, luck finally runs out for Virginia. And speaking of just bad luck in general, it's just Virginia lost their quarterback. Tough one to watch, definitely. Very tough one to watch for them. Very unfortunate. It's you never want to see that. Like you never want to see a team, obviously, there's always the, excuse that, oh, good team with a win without him. But Chandler Morris went down actually pretty early in this game. And then I will say Daniel Kalen, who came in, did not have a bad game, but obviously, you can't be losing to Wake Forest at home. You cannot be losing to Wake Forest at home. Claiborne had an all right game, 75 yards rushing. The one that just makes this an absolute stinger of a loss is Robbie Ashford had 46 passing yards. 46 and was 7 for 16. This is just something, if you're Virginia, that could not happen. On top of that, just the turnovers. Obviously, I think Virginia still could very well win the ACC. This is their first ACC loss, but that's really going to depend on Chandler Morris's health, in my opinion. I feel like he's kind of the thing keeping this team together. But he was kind of what was keeping the team together, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, good win for Wake Forest. They're the first Tobacco Road team bowl eligible this year, which if you told me that back in freaking September, I wouldn't have believed you. But who knew? Wake Forest is the first bowl eligible team
The next bowl eligible
this year
team.
from the Big Four.
Yeah, but the next bowl eligible team from the North Carolina is ECU. They get the win over Charlotte, 48-22. No real surprises here, but Hauser had a pretty good game with 222 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. But Grayson Loftus, man, hop in the portal, buddy. You're not going to be winning with this team. He had 279 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, but ECU continues to impress me with their offensive production. And Charlotte continues to depress me with their existence. So no real surprises on this one. Duke versus UConn is another big one. UConn,
Choke.
yeah. UConn gets the win 37-34. Duke is unable to pull out the win, but UConn able to secure the win. Your boy, Joe uh,
Ignano.
Fagnano, making sure I'm saying that right. Don't clip that. Uh, had 311 yards passing, no interceptions this game. So he continues his stat line of having 0 interceptions this year. So that's pretty impressive. Um, Duke
He's now in
unable
the
to,
Heisman voting.
yeah.
He's now broken into it.
Mm. But tough loss for Duke. But you know what? Speaking of tough losses and impressive storylines, I found a guy, and I'm not going to lie, I think he could be a big guy in the transfer portal just by I don't know how to say this. I like this. I like what he's got to offer. So let me try to find the let me try to find him. This game that I'm talking about. But let's see. 1 second. All right, here we are. From Western Carolina against Mercer. Mercer wins this game 49-47 in an absolute shootout. But let me tell you who was not the cause of this loss. We got Tyron Dickens from Western Carolina. Put up video game like numbers this game. He had 7 touchdowns and over 550 yards in passing. Uh, 33 for 49. And he's just been extremely impressive this year. He's had 33 touchdowns passing this year with 2 interceptions. Keep your eye on him in the portal. I'm not gonna lie. This guy, I was watching the highlights a little bit. I like this guy. He's better than He's better than what Western Carolina usually produces. So keep your eyes on this man. Just wanted to give him a shout out since also he is in North Carolina. So
Yeah.
maybe
We love our FCS programs.
we love our FCS programs. And you know what? I'll say this. NC State's probably going to be losing CJ Bailey. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm keeping a buck. You guys are probably going to lose him. I'd go after him in the portal.
We'll see. The place that we thought we were losing CJ Bailey to, sources are they're tampering with a different quarterback, so he's safe for the moment. Miami's reportedly tampering with Lenora Sellers instead.
I was thinking maybe Miami for CJ Bailey, or I don't know. That he's an SEC caliber quarterback, so. But that's an
We'll
episode for a
see.
different pod.
Yeah, that's an episode for a different podcast. If he leaves, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Transfer portal podcast. We'll talk about that later. But that wraps it up for the North Carolina teams. Gareth, do you want to hop into the other matchups?
Yeah, first one I want to hop into is the second instance of chaos this weekend is the Cal game, Cal Golden Bears versus Louisville. I just want to know what the hell happened here. Like, there were times and places where Louisville had this game put away. Like, they had the ball in, like, I think opponent territory with the game tied with, like, less than 3 minutes left, and they didn't score. Just I know Cal's a lot better than their record suggests. They've got a very exciting team. Their freshman quarterback, Saga Politelli, or however you say it, is an absolute just treat to watch. Kendrick Rayfield, their running back, former NC State guy, getting it down on the ground with 19 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown. This Cal team's dangerous. I'll give him that. This Cal team's dangerous. Just came down to the wire. This is not a good look for Louisville, though. I was high on Louisville, and then I was kind of like, Louisville gave me very like the vibes we had about the Broncos were the vibes I had about Louisville for the majority of the season until the Miami win. Now I'm kind of back to that level when it comes to the Louisville team. Like this is not a good look. This is not a good loss. Louisville is most probably out of the playoff with this, unfortunately, with how the world views the ACC. Like this Louisville team's probably not making the playoff. This is their second conference loss, and unless some really bad stuff happens, they're not making the playoff or the conference tournament game. But hats off to Cal going on the road and winning in a very tough environment to win at it's not Papa John Stadium anymore. It's Ellen in Federal Credit Union Stadium. Tough place to play, but hats off to Cal. That's a rough one for Louisville, though. That's the first one I wanted to look at. What about you? You got a game you want to look at while I try and find the other game I'm looking for?
I mean, there's a lot of interesting games that went down. Indiana wins a close one against Penn State. I don't know what to really think of this one. I mean, Indiana gets it done on the road. Uh, I I think the best thing to do with this game, I kind of take the noise from both sides of, I guess, the argument that's taking place out of the equation. There's a lot of people saying, like, oh, this is still a really good Penn State team. Just besides like not having their starting quarterback, like this is still a really successful team, really good talent, and it's hard to win at Penn State. Some of that is true to an extent, and then other people saying like this is a very questionable moment for Indiana. Uh, like I don't know what the heck are they doing, like yada yada yada. Like I feel like both of these sides are right. I mean, at the end of the day, Indiana won. Sometimes for championship teams, you got to find a way to win games that are really gritty and like you should be blowing them out, but you're not, but you still find a way to win. That's something that a championship team does, and that's what Indiana did. I just think now we can kind of put down the facade that Indiana is just this unstoppable force. Because I feel
Yeah,
like I was really high on Indiana, and I'm still really high on Indiana, but we can cool down with the this Indiana team is clearly better than last year, but do we know if they are a championship like winning team? We don't know yet. We just got to see it happen. I feel like we know, okay, Superman can bleed. So just take that for what you will. Some teams will take that information and take it the wrong way, saying like this team is extremely beatable and fraudulent, and other teams will take it the right way and say like, hey, if we do our assignments and do what we need to do, we have a shot at them. I don't think there's any team left on the schedule for Indiana
that can do that.
that could do that, but I'm talking about playoffs right now because Indiana's in the playoffs right now, in my mind, unless
Yeah, and
barring a the collapse of like Penn State proportions.
yeah, what I will say about this game is I'm gonna take I'm gonna agree with Aiden's take and tweak it a little bit for my take.
Mm-hmm.
I think Penn State's a very hard place to play well at. It's for
Yeah.
a lot of when Penn State's the underdog, it's a very easy place. I wouldn't say it's an easy place to play. I wouldn't say it's impossible. It's still a tough place to play, but I wouldn't say it's quite impossible to win at. It's a difficult place to play at, but it's a really hard place to play well at. I don't think this bodes as bad on Indiana as people think. I just think people are just saying this just because it's not Alabama or like, Ohio State playing there and struggling. Um, every year when this happens to a team that's not named Alabama or Ohio State or an SEC homer who hates Alabama but secretly deep down like is slobbing on the knob. Um,
Yes.
Good teams have close games. There were. I'll take the viral clip. I'll take the viral clip. I will double quote this clip this episode. Y'all don't remember the Georgia State game? They ran through us like shit through a tin horn. Another Alabama game. That Alabama Citadel game from a few years ago. I'm just saying, those good teams still win. Like, they're not always going to dominate. Okay. Especially when
We all
a
can't
team,
beat 2019 LSU.
and even then, they had some questionable moments. Like, there was an FCS team they let score like 35, if I'm not mistaken, that year. Even though they scored 60, that's not a good look. That's not a good look at all. I think Southeast Louisiana might have dropped almost 40 on them. I mean, they still lost by like 30. But I think you get what I'm saying.
I get
Like
what you're saying.
even these great SEC teams have these great seasons and win championships. They still struggle with the Citadel, Southeast, Southeastern Louisiana at home. This is on the road at a tough place to play. Do they usually win? Does the opposing team usually win? Yes. But the crowd makes it a very tough place to play, and Penn State always gets up for these games. It's just that they can't finish these games. Exhibit A, the end of that Indiana game. Holy cow.
Hmm.
One of the best catches I've ever seen. That's
Yes.
all I'll say about that. One of the best catches I've ever seen.
Yes.
Elsewhere around, we'll keep it in the SEC for this next one. This one really surprised me. Georgia, Mississippi State. After Mississippi State kind of gave Texas a close one, I thought this would be at least a really close game, but dear Lord, the majority of these points for Mississippi State were scored in garbage time. I mean, Georgia, in my mind, has answered all questions I have about them. I think more than anyone else, I'd say even more so than Alabama, this Georgia team's kind of, going about it in a very college basketball way. You know, things are coming together at the right moment. Like college football, it's like, you kind of have to be perfect. But college basketball, if you come together at the right moment, you can still kind of get the respect you deserve. Like you could have a shoddy record, but if you've been good the last month or two, they'll still give you a decent seat. I think that's Georgia here. Georgia's kind of, Georgia in my mind's put a lot of, like I said, put a lot of my doubts to rest. Do I think they're going to win the national championship? I don't know. There's a lot of good teams this year. Who knows? There's a lot of options. There's 12 teams that'll have a shot at winning the national title. So who knows? That's pretty low chances for anyone. But this Georgia team's definitely, stopped any reservations I have about them. So good game. I mean, Gunnar Stockton, 18 of 29, 264 for 3 touchdowns. Nathan Frazier, 181 yards on 12 carries. That is just insane. This Mississippi State defense got absolutely torched. So, yeah.
Texas A&M also continues their winning ways against Missouri on the road. Texas A&M absolutely dominated this game, 38-17. I really like this Texas A&M team a lot, especially Marcel Reed is really kind of coming into his own. And the rushing attack behind Ruben Owens the second with 102 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. This Texas A&M offense is really hard to stop, and we saw near the end, like the Texas A&M defense kind of slip up a little bit against the Tigers, letting up 17 points in that second half. The Texas A&M defense has always been an area of concern for me for this season, but going on the road and having that level of dominance against granted, Missouri is, I feel like, was a little bit overrated going in to this season, and they're starting to slip up now. But a very good win for Texas A&M. Alabama also gets the win over LSU winning 20-9. No real notes from that game, but moving on, we have BYU versus Texas Tech. Oh my lord. Texas Tech just absolutely puts it on the BYU. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer. I thought that 10-point line was a little bit of a disservice to BYU. Apparently, Vegas knew something that I didn't. And this Texas Tech team is really, really good. I've been hyping on this Texas Tech defense before. They showed out this game, and the offensive production is back to peak form right now with Baron Morton back from his injuries, but also Cameron Dickley. This Texas Tech team has a really solid rushing attack that I did not really consider as much. I thought this was more of a pass-heavy offense, but they have the duality of a really good pass offense and a really good rush offense. So this Texas Tech team, I feel like, is back in full swing. That Arizona State loss is kind of in the rearview mirror. I mean, granted, not starting your main guy, your starting quarterback. I feel like the committee is going to be a lot more forgiving for that loss. The rest of the season looks really good for Texas Tech for the rest of the season. So I'm pretty high on this Red Raiders team.
I am as well. This game definitely surprised me as well. Texas Tech, I was kind of their one loss this season. I think I put a little bit too much weight on that. Their loss to Arizona State, but I think this is likely going to be the auto bid out of the Big 12. If I'm being honest, like this is going to be the highest ranked team out of the Big 12. But speaking of teams that I'm kind of like, yikes, when it comes to it, Oregon. I know they got the win at a tough place to play. They got to win at Iowa, who's not a bad team. But God, Oregon looks ugly. The difference in this one is 2 points, which, safety early in the game for Oregon. Iowa fought their way back into this game after being down double digits. Not much happened. I think the weather, added to it. I mean, Whittington for Oregon had 110 yards rush or 118 yards rushing on 17 carries. The Iowa defense kind of started slipping up towards the end of the night. But I mean, it's objectively, if you just look at it as a win, yes, this is a road win, a road ranked win in the Big Ten, so that's good win. But in the manner that it happened, I'm not necessarily impressed with Oregon, and I still have a lot of. Or speaking of question marks, Oregon, I've got a lot of question marks about. So,
yeah,
overall talented team, but lots of question marks.
Yeah, a lot of question marks for Oregon, but hey, able to get the win. So we'll see how the rest of their schedule goes, especially with teams like USC on the horizon. Minnesota has been giving some teams some tough looks. They have them this Friday, actually. So should be interesting for Oregon. Notre Dame got their win over Navy, which was to be expected, but
At what cost?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Notre Dame wins in a convincing fashion. Um, Carr throws for 218 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Love rushes for 2. Listen, like this was not what I worried about with the Navy game. It's what's to come. But we'll see. Um, this I mean, is if you're a Notre Dame fan, you know the narratives. But Notre Dame gets the win in a snowy game and continues to keep their playoff hopes alive. Speaking of keeping your playoff hopes alive, Miami gets back in the win column with a big win over Syracuse in a get-right game, winning 38-10. Beck throws for 247 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, and It was just a good get right game for Miami, especially with a interesting matchup against NC State coming up. I feel like this was a must win, obviously, for Miami to keep their playoffs hopes alive, but also to just keep the train going. Um, as it pertains to upsets, Wisconsin gets a big upset over Washington. I did not see this coming. I didn't think Wisconsin was going to win a game in the Big Ten, but they're able to get a close win over number 23 Washington. This was Washington. What the heck happened? I mean, just they pretty much the story of this game is they got out physicaled, and Washington was just unable to capitalize with their superior talent. Uh, Williams was threw for 134 yards, had one touchdown, but one pretty bad interception. Um, Not the best uh, performance coming from him. I'm trying to see what's going on. What's going on with Wisconsin right now? Box score. I mean, yeah, the
Black ass
offensive.
fuckery.
I mean, their leading passer this game was their place kicker, who had 24 yards on one attempt. That should kind of tell you how Wisconsin's season has been going so far. But the rushing attack was there at least. Smith able to rush for one touchdown, and Wisconsin able to average get a total of 157 yards rushing, while Washington was only able to get 116 yards. This was a game in the trenches, and the Wisconsin defense was able to show up to stop a Washington offense that has been hot at times, but also has been really cold at times. And they were able to catch them on a cold day today, both literally and figuratively. But moving forward, uh, let's see what else is there.
There's Kentucky, Florida. I know it not doesn't matter for stuff, but holy cow, that was the biggest surprise for me.
You want to talk about it?
Florida. Yeah, Kentucky, Florida. Holy cow. Um, another game this weekend where kind of that you're kind of the perceived starter was benched. Um, DJ Lagway did not have a good game. 11 for 19, one touchdown, three interceptions for 83 yards. Um, Interestingly enough, Kentucky had a different quarterback in as well. Um, Ole was in for Zach Calzada. Just Kentucky, or not Kentucky, yeah. Florida didn't do a whole lot this game. Their offense really wasn't working very well. I mean, 64 yards rushing on 17 carries, no less than 100 yards passing. And then Kentucky, um, Dante Dowdle, hopefully related to Rico Dowdle, keeping it in the family in that case. But Dante Dowdle had quite a game on the ground with 104 yards rushing on only 7 carries. That's something you cannot let happen. I mean, overall, Florida gave up 401 yards, turned the ball over 4 times. I mean, so did Kentucky, but Kentucky was able to do stuff with it. Kentucky was able to score off those turnovers. They were able to take advantage, and this Florida team, this Florida team's bad. Um, this comes around every year. Like SEC fans are always like, if anyone ever thinks an ACC team's going to be good, we should never listen to them again. Bro, I'm never listening to a Florida fan again saying they're going to be good this year. I'm sorry. This is the second year in a row where, bro, we're going to be legit. No, you're not. This was awful. And your $1 million quarterback's been playing however you're going to say it, one of those dollar sandwiches you get from a gas station that's got like watery cheese on it. That's how he's been playing this season. No hate to gas station sandwiches. I mean this specific type of gas station sandwich.
Just want to make it
Jesus,
clear.
Watery.
Just want to
Just want to
make it
make it clear.
clear. Just want to make it clear. All offense
Just want
to,
to make
to the University of Florida, but no offense to the gas
gas
stations.
stations sandwiches. Yes, full offense to the University of Florida. I never want to hear how you're good again. I never want to hear it. I'm sorry. I've been hearing that for about 24 years of life, and it's only been true about 4 times.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, moving on. This was big for the playoff in my mind. Hawaii beat San Diego State. San Diego State was one of those dark horse playoff contenders in my mind, but they lose a pretty bad one to a really good Hawaii team. I grant you that, but losing 38-6, I feel like knocks them out of playoff contention. But speaking of playoff dark horses, I want to focus our attention on one James Madison University. I know people are saying, "Oh, the American's where it's at right now." If there's going to be the group of 5 bid is going to be coming out of the American, I'm just saying, hold on a second. I think JMU is kind of cooking right now. They're 8-1, got a good win against an okay Marshall team, 35-23. If things happen, I feel like this playoff committee needs to put a little bit more respect on JMU's name. I say that, but they're probably going to lose to somebody along the line. But
yeah.
keep your eyes on JMU. They're on the playoff bubble. They're my dark horse of the week right now. But Clemson gets the win over Florida State at 24-10. Nebraska gets the win over UCLA. I was thinking maybe UCLA would be able to pull off something, but Nebraska is able to keep it together with their backup quarterback, Latef. Um, he was able to throw for 205 yards, 3 touchdowns, in a 28-21 close win for the Cornhuskers. And those are pretty much my games of note, Gareth, if you have anything you want to bring up.
Not in particular. I mean, outside of some chaos in the ACC, it was a pretty unspectacular weekend as far as results go. Yeah, I think I'm good. Should we get into some predictions for the upcoming week?
Let's get into some predictions. Just starting off, we have we have NC State versus Miami, and then we also have UNC versus Wake Forest. Which one do you want to get into first?
I'll let you start with UNC Wake Forest.
UNC versus Wake Forest. All right, UNC's on the road this one. We finally have a little bit of momentum going in to this game, but Wake Forest is a team that you definitely can't look over. But it's a rivalry game. Listen, things are kind of starting to click a little bit for UNC, and I like this Wake Forest team, but I don't know. Sometimes they're very hit or miss. Some days you'll get Florida State, next days you'll get Virginia, and I don't know which Wake Forest team we're going to see with this one. My expectation, UNC is going to have a little bit more fight than Wake Forest, and Wake Forest is going to be coming out a little bit complacent with the fact that they've already got their bowl game, and I got UNC winning this one in a close one.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest's inability to throw the ball this season has definitely been of concern, and UNC's been able to develop a little bit of a passing game. So I'm going to give this one to UNC. This game, NC State Miami. I really don't know how to feel about this game. So, for those of you, I mean, I'm sure, Aiden, are you on the ESPN website?
Yes.
And for those of you following along at home, let's scroll over to the NC State Miami game and let's take a look at these ticket prices. $6. $6. for the NC State Miami game. What is this? This is telling me no one's going to this game.
It's telling me
Miami has their.
it's an NFL stadium.
It's an NFL stadium, but I'm saying they've sold out games before there. They have had good crowds there.
You're not gonna sell out a 3:30 game against NC State. I know NC State is coming off a good win against Georgia Tech, but I'm sorry.
I'm not saying sell out. I'm saying $6 though. $6. That's the same price as the Boston College Georgia Tech tickets. Virginia Tech, Florida State's at least 34. And I get it's an NFL stadium, but come on. I also don't know how to feel because I don't know what Carson Beck we're gonna get. What happens in this game is dependent on what Carson Beck we get. If we get the OG Carson Beck, I think this game could get pretty interesting. Even with somewhat okay Carson Beck, I think this game could get interesting. But I'm gonna give the edge to Miami here, just because it's at them, and I don't trust State right now. And coming off of a bye week, State can be a little flat sometimes. But what I will say is I think this 15.5 line's a little generous, considering how Miami's played lately, particularly at home. So I do see a world where NC State can win this. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen this season. I mean, look at fucking Cal. But the big question is, outside of Carson Beck, the big question is NC State's defense going to show up? Sure, this game's going to depend on whether Carson Beck shows up or not. But if NC State's defense shows up, this could also make it a pretty interesting game. I just think the keys, if NC State is going to win, the keys are they're going to have to get out in front early and fast, and they're going to have to play good defense. I don't think they need to turn into a track meet like they did with Georgia Tech. That was brilliant strategy, but, with Miami, we can afford to be a little bit slower, and, I'm not saying get off to a slow start, but we don't need to be, scoring 20-yard touchdown passes left and right. But like I said, I'm going to give the edge to Miami in this one, but there's a lot of asterisks and footnotes that I will add. This game. This is a complex one for me.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give this one to Miami as well. I just, hey, like you said, there's a lot of asterisks. There's a lot of asterisks and just unknowns, known knowns, and unknown unknowns. There's a lot of things that you know, and then things that you don't know, and the things you don't know that you don't know, and at the end of the day, it's night. I just got to go with my gut on thinking that Miami's going to win this one. I like State's performance against Georgia Tech. I don't know if they're going to be able to recreate it again. Especially I feel like now they're on a lot of people's radar, and I feel like Miami definitely has State on their radar right now. And with that, we're going to get a better performance out of Carson Beck. He's not going to be undermining the State defense and the State team, with the State defense also being one of the weaker points of this NC State team. It's going to be a shootout, I think, in the first and second quarter, but I do think Miami pulls away. Moving on, we have Duke versus Virginia. I'm not going to lie, with Virginia suffering the loss of Morris, is he do you think he's still going to be out for this game? It doesn't say.
I haven't seen anything. They technically don't have to release anything until Friday.
Yeah. I don't like Virginia's chances in that case. If Morris comes back, I can definitely see it going Virginia's way, but just the offensive production from Duke has just been on a completely different level. Even if you incorporate Morris into this, just the passing attack from Darian Mensah has been absolutely elite. 24 touchdowns this season, only 4 interceptions. I like the rushing attack behind Nate Shepard. I think this offense is just going to match anything that Virginia can throw at Duke, and I think Duke's going to just be able to do it better, especially in that home environment. Give me Duke winning this one.
Yeah, I've got Duke winning this one as well. I just think unless Virginia's offense wakes back up, I think this could be a long day for them. Unless their offense wakes back up. So I'm going to take Duke in this one.
Yeah. And then after that, we have App State versus JMU. Gareth is going to like this one because, number one, Gareth, you said why this game is looking a little bit interesting to you. Gareth, let me tell you why. Because there's precedent.
There is precedent.
There is precedent where a middling 500 App State team has gone to a one-loss JMU team at JMU and has proceeded to beat them. And that game was actually on College Game Day about 2 to 3 years ago. So, Gareth.
And they even put belt to them.
Yes, they did. Gareth, there is precedent for this one.
I'd agree.
However, I am not one to fall for precedent as easily as Gareth, so I expect my friends to maybe pick App State, but I'm sorry. I'm just not impressed with this App State offensive attack. They seem to just not start at the right time, and you cannot do that with this JMU team. They get off and ready to go from the first snap. Give me JMU to win this one. I think App State's going to make this one interesting near the end, but it's not going to be able to account for the fact that App State doesn't start off strong.
Being the precedent guy that I am, my spidey senses when it comes to this precedent one are not tingling. This is not the level of precedence as a November Carter Finley night game. It's not that level of precedence.
Shut the hell.
My precedence is not tingling for this one, so I'm gonna give JMU for the win here.
Find yourself a girl that loves you the way Gareth loves precedence.
Historical precedent. You see, that was a one-time off thing. Yeah. When I bring up precedence, it's like, if it's a one-time thing, I'm like, this has happened before. But when I'm like really hammering home precedent, it's like this shit's happened like 4 or 5 times.
Yes. Fool me once, shame on you. You fool me
4 times.
Fool me twice. You fool me, you can't get fooled again.
Yeah, you can't get fooled again.
But after that,
meter not happening.
ECU versus Memphis. We got a Downey-Ficklin Stadium at 4:00. Listen, that's night by my standards, with like the sun, daylight savings time, the sun, all that stuff. ECU is going to be popping off once that sun goes down. I like this Memphis team, but I just don't think they're ready for this ECU offense. I have really been a big fan of Hauser. He's had some pretty solid production, and I think this ECU can catch Memphis slipping. The spread has the ECU favored, but let's see what matchup predictor also favors ECU. Is this an upset? Is it an upset breaking ECU? Am I being basic? Is it favored? So I guess ECU's favored, but I think this is a very warranted favoring. I like ECU a lot in this matchup. Give me the Pirates.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. Going back to my precedents, it has nothing to do with Memphis, but let's be real. That stadium clears out after about the first quarter when the students go to the bars. Let's be real.
It does.
Let's be real. I consider Downey-Ficklin is an elite environment for the fourth quarter. I put it in the same category as Lane Stadium in Virginia Tech Stadium. Mm-hmm. That atmosphere is elite for about 15 minutes.
Yes.
And then the students want to go to the bars and, vice versa. I've got Memphis in this one. This
That's not
ECU team I've had this ECU team I've got weird feelings about. I'm struggling to get a read on them. They've played well most of the season. The two on paper, most of their games have been very good. There are 2 losses to both BYU and ECU. The BYU game, they were doing good till they just had some self-destructive play call at the end of the first half, and that's what kind of set them on a spiral. This Tulane game was also just another it kind of choked that game away. And ECU in the big moments this season has kind of faltered, in my opinion, whether it be home or away. And I know BYU is on a completely different level than Memphis.
I mean, if we know
But
anything for ECU, ECU always goes down when things are big. And I think that's just something that's in the pirate nature. But I feel like ECU is going to really rise to the occasion. And I just something about this ECU team. I really like their offensive production. So I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you on this one.
yeah, for me, the only thing rising on that campus is the STD. Let's go on to the next game.
Hey, we are not going to be dissing ECU students on this podcast. No dissing. No dissing it.
I
I
didn't say
come.
students. I could have been talking about professors for all you know. Their professors could get down. You never know.
Gareth, I come from a family of ECU students, so we're not going to be dissing any ECU students on my watch.
I know. I said professors. Our professors could be getting down. You don't come from a family of ECU professors.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But anyway, we'll want to move on to, you know what?
Yeah.
This matchup has been on my mind for damn near 5 months. Notre Dame versus Pitt. It's lost to the ether right now, but I might have even said it on other podcasts. Pitt is the number 1 team that I'm scared of as a Notre Dame fan. Like, after the Navy game, things are starting to look good. There's always the Navy hangover. It's happened before against Northwestern. It's happened before against Pitt. Gareth.
There's precedence. There's precedence.
There is precedence, and there is so much precedence, even I'm scared of it right now. But at the beginning of the season, I said Notre Dame loses 1 game, and it's going to be Pitt. And then later on, as the season progressed, I said Notre Dame is going to be looking good, but I'm still scared of this Pitt team. Pitt's on the up right now. I don't like this line right now that Pitt has with Notre Dame favored by 12.5 points, but they've gotten a string of really solid wins against Boston College, Florida State, Syracuse, NC State, Stanford. Listen, one of those wins I think is actually pretty impressive. The rest of them I'm like, okay. That's the NC State win. Everything else I think is okay. I'm going to refrain from picking this game. I'm officially refraining from picking this game because I do not know how to pick it. Because I think Notre Dame is better. I think Notre Dame should win, but I am too scared by the precedent. So I will refrain from picking.
I can't tell if my precedent alarm bells are going off or not. I guess I haven't experienced too many Pitt Notre Dame games. So my precedent.
This is a rivalry game. People don't know that. This is a rivalry game.
Former Big East rivalry too. Mm-hmm. Former Big East rivalry. I'm gonna give this one to Notre Dame. I think it's gonna be close and it's gonna be ugly, but I think they're gonna pull it out. So I'll give this one to Notre Dame. Precedence, not there.
Gareth, you don't understand. The precedence is there.
The precedence is there, but I'm saying the precedence is not happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it out. Precedence is not happening.
But
And even if it happens, my precedence is still 99 out of 100. So
moving forward, we have South Florida versus Navy looks pretty interesting. I think South Florida is going to get back big on this one. Navy's kind of been falling a little bit, and I don't like Navy when they go up against really good offensive powers. Granted, South Florida is very prone to making mistakes, and I feel like Navy can really capitalize on it. But if this becomes a track meet, Navy's going to lose.
there's historical precedence for this. And for once, my precedence is this episode is going off. Navy, whose season's not over, but they're out of the playoff, versus a high-powered offense. This is giving me flashbacks to that Houston game from a few years ago. Especially if Blake Horvath's back, give me Navy in this one, winning. I think that 9.5 line is a little generous, so give me Navy.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. We forgot to pick one North Carolina matchup. We forgot to pick Charlotte versus the University of Texas San Antonio. No.
You
Give
know
me San
what? Just
Antonio.
because I feel bad, give me Charlotte.
Give me San Antonio. Give me I'm sorry. I'm not impressed by anything Charlotte does.
Good.
Charlotte University. UNC Charlotte. But moving forward, Alabama, Oklahoma. That looks pretty good. Give me Alabama. I really like Ty Simpson. I feel like the offensive attack from Alabama is going to be a lot better than the hot and coldness that we have been seeing from Oklahoma. And I think Alabama is going to start cruising to the playoffs now.
Yeah, I'd agree. My only concern for this game is Alabama's run defense has been a little suspect this season, particularly when it comes to mobile quarterbacks. But like Aiden said, Ty Simpson's been on a roll, only one interception, one of the Heisman favorites. So I'm gonna go with Alabama on this one as well. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Alabama's gonna pull away towards the end.
Next matchup. I don't know why this is on the Big Ten Network and not CBS. The actual CBS matchup is Penn State versus Michigan State. But we have a really good Big Ten matchup with Iowa versus USC. USC has really struggled against teams that run the ball well, and Iowa is one of the best rushing attacks in the nation. They have a really solid dual threat quarterback in Gronkowski, and I just something about this Iowa team. I know it's on the road. I there's a lot of things going against this Iowa team, but they gave Oregon a good run for their money. I don't like this USC team against rushing attacks. Give me, for my upset of the week, Iowa.
I'm gonna agree with you. This USC team, I don't know how to get a grasp on. I think it's a talented team, so the danger's always there with them, but they really struggle executing, and Iowa executes very well. And like Aiden said, USC struggles against teams that run the ball well, so give me Iowa.
Uh, let's see. Texas versus Georgia. We're heading to Athens for
Oh,
this one. Arch Manning's been looking pretty solid. Is Texas back? This Georgia team, listen, they just refuse to die. And I don't know, big game under the lights. Give me Gunnar Stockton to pull this one off. I like this Georgia team a lot. Texas gets knocked out of the playoffs. this week.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. And I'm going to predict exactly what's going to happen if this does happen. So I like the way Arch Manning's playing. And regardless of result, I think Arch Manning is going to silence a lot of haters in this game.
Yes,
I think
so too.
I'm going to give this one I think it's going to be a close win for Texas. I think it's going to come down to the wire, possibly even overtime. But here's what's going to happen if Texas wins. Oh, the SEC's so deep. But God forbid the same thing happen in the ACC, then it's a shit conference. It's a farmers league. Bitch, you wouldn't last a day. I'm sorry.
Garrett, don't talk. Garrett, there's no. Listen,
Does Georgia want to go play Boston College on a Thursday night? Does Georgia really want to go to the shithole known as Chestnut Hill for a night? No, they don't. They'd win. But hey, do they want to go there? No.
Hey, do you want to play a game in Uzbekistan in the middle of winter? No? Oh, what are you, freaking puss?
I'm just saying. There's a little bit of hypocrisy.
Do you want to play a football game in hell? No? Then shut up.
I'm just saying. There's parity in the ACC. We're ass. There's parity in the SEC. This league is so deep. This league is so deep. Is it though?
Aw, SEC parody. Aw, so sweet. ACC parody. Hello, human resources.
I'm just saying the bottom of y'all's conference looks a lot like the bottom of our conference. And same thing with the Big Ten. I'm just saying, before you point out the speck in someone else's eye, make sure you check out the large piece of timber in your own. Just saying.
Gareth, are you still gonna be
you SEC fans were telling me, "Oh, DJ Lagway's winning the Heisman." DJ Lagway's riding fucking bench right now. You're telling me this was supposed to be your SEC champion? And don't even get me started about how Alabama lost to the fucking bottom of the barrel ACC team by multiple touchdowns. It was the first week. Okay, and this isn't the NFL. All right. Not saying Alabama's bad. I'm just saying, had that been a number one ranked Clemson going to like a Mississippi State, that win would be used as like hard evidence why Clemson shouldn't make the playoff. Just saying.
Gareth has just been taken out by Big Tech because he has talked too much crap to the SEC. He is now returning with us right now. Gareth, did you just get taken out by ESPN and having a good talking to by the mouse?
Yeah, I think Big Tech got me. My Wi-Fi cut out for a second. It's okay. I threw a shot glass at my router and it came back on. So
Big Tech will not censor Gareth and his anti-SEC rants.
Yeah, Big Tech got silenced by a shot glass. So it's celebratory shot glass full of rye.
I can't wait till the ACC inevitably gets like consumed by the SEC, and then Gareth is still like going on some anti-SEC rants. It's going to be like the year's going to be like 2030. NC State, UNC, Duke, like everybody's going to be in the in the SEC, and like the ACC is going to comprise of like App State, Charlotte, and freaking Boston College is still going to be there. Gareth's loyalty is still going to be with the ACC.
I'm just saying, a lot of this SEC scariness is just from TV deals and Paul Fennebaum. Like, yes, Paul Fennebaum. We know there's an SEC sorority girl giving you head under your desk. We're aware.
Lord.
We see it in your face. We see it in the looks you give the camera. I mean, sorry for our audio-only learners, but
Listeners.
I think we have a point. Here.
What the hell?
Moving on to games that actually matter, unlike the SEC. What you know about Kenny State? Kennesaw
Which
State. Sitting here at 7-2, bowl eligible for the first time, taking on 6-3 Jacksonville State. I'm gonna give this one to Kenny State. They're looking hot right now. Amari and Odom, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They're absolutely cooking. I
who
like
gives
Kenny
a
State for
hoot?
this one.
The Owls do.
The Owls.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Georgia
We'll
doesn't want to
go.
play Kenny State. Georgia doesn't want to play Kenny State. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I'll give that one to Kenny State. Let's see. Um, you know what? Another upset pick. I got Mississippi State taking down Missouri to become bowl eligible. They got to win this one. They're not winning against Ole Miss.
Oh, the parody, the parody.
The parody.
I can hear it now, the parody. The
Oh, the
parody.
parody is so good.
Okay, for this game, if Blake Shapen is back from injury, I'll give this one to Mississippi State. But if he's not, I'm going to have to give this one to Missouri. So pick contingent on Blake Shapen's health. So if he is back, I'm giving it to Mississippi State. So
You got any other
UCLA.
games?
No, UCLA, Ohio State's not looking at me funny.
Yeah, no.
Baylor, Utah. I really like this Baylor team, and I think they're a lot better than their 5-4 record. But also, they've choked some games away. Now, what the hell? Give me Baylor. I'll throw a bone to my girlfriend's cousins. Give me Baylor. Sawyer Robertson's going to absolutely cook.
Nah, give me Utah on this one. I really like Utah's offense. I mean, Robertson's had a pretty solid year, but I just think this Utah team really can turn it on. Like they did so against Colorado and Cincinnati, coming off a bye. I like this Baylor team. I mean, this Utah team against Baylor.
Anything else you want to touch on?
I think I'm good. We got some UFC content.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, we have UFC 322 this weekend in Madison Square Garden in New York. We have a really interesting welterweight title fight for our main event, and some pretty interesting undercards. In the prelims, we have this is going to be a little bit of a steal for those watching on ESPN News, Disney Plus, or FX. Listen, if you have Disney Plus, you can watch this. We got Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. I like Bo Nickel's grappling. People kind of been hating, saying that he's a bot. Got taken down not too long ago. Got his first loss against Renier de Ryder. But, I think he's going to bounce back big, and he's going to be another one of those big name contenders in the middleweight division. Give me him winning against Ferreira via submission. Going into the pay-per-view card, we have Brunelli Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. Man, I really like Benoit Saint Denis. I think he's kind of had a little bit of a rough go in the lightweight with some losses to Dustin Poirier and Moricano, but he's kind of been on the up with some good wins against Ruffy and Prepolic. Give me Benoit Saint Denis. Starting his lightweight title run today, he's going to be he's going to find his way back to the lightweight title. sooner or later. I like him a lot. In the welterweight, we have Leon Edwards versus Carlos Parates. Leon Edwards, low key kind of washed. He had a pretty good welterweight title run, but I'm not gonna lie. I think his best days are kind of behind him. Give me Carlos winning this one. In the welterweight division, we have Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Um, Give me Sean Brady on this one. He's been on an absolute tear lately. His only loss is to Bilal Muhammad, which I'm not going to lie, that's an okay loss to have, especially in this division. He's been going up pretty well, got a good win against Leon Edwards. As I said before, this welterweight division is pretty solid, but give me Sean Brady in a really solid matchup against a good striker and Michael Morales. Michael Morales is undefeated. I think it's going to end today. He's going to catch his first loss to Sean Brady. For the women's flyweight title light, we have Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Um, I'm a big Valentina Shevchenko fan. I like her a lot. That trilogy against Alexa Gracio. That was really good for the division. One of the few trilogies that ends with a one win, one loss, and one tie for all the two fighters involved. So, and Valentina Shevchenko got a good win against Manon Farah. A lot of people were going up against her in that fight. Zhang Weili is one of the best women's fighters. This is going to be a very good striking matchup between these two Muay Thai based fighters. So a lot of interesting strikes, a lot of interesting looks that we're going to be getting. But give me Valentina Shevchenko on this one. But I think it's going to be a really close one. This one's going to go all 5 rounds. It's going to be really, really interesting. But that's going to bring us to our main event. We have the welterweight title. Islam Makhachev has moved up from the lightweight division into the welterweight. He vacated his belt, and he's going to go against JDM. JDM with his first title defense against Islam Makhachev. This is going to be a very, very interesting fight. I don't know how Islam's going to be doing in this welterweight. Sources have said he's had to cut down a lot for lightweight, so I don't think it's going to be playing as much as a factor in this fight as maybe it would for some other people when they're moving up a division. This is one of the few instances where the fighter who is moving up and challenging the guy with the belt is actually favored in this one. So this is going to be really interesting. I like JDM a lot. I think he's really good for the welterweight division. Got a really solid win against Bilal Muhammad for his to get his belt in a unanimous decision. I'm really, really excited that we have this fight. I think I'm going to have to go up with the upset here and say go with JDM. I like Islam a lot, but I just don't know how he's going to be doing in the welterweight division. JDM has a really, really solid striking game, and I think that's going to. I think he's going to be able to avoid the takedowns that Islam Makhachev is going to be throwing. And if this becomes a slugfest, JDM wins. But if Islam Makhachev is able to bring this one to the ground, he has this one in the bag. I just don't know with the new weight difference, how Islam's going to be coming out with that. I think it's going to be a slugfest in the first couple rounds, and that's really what's going to make the decision for the judges. This one's going to go all 5 rounds, but I have JDM winning this one. But yeah,
I'm gonna be interested to see. I've heard Aiden talk a lot about him, Islam Makhachev going up in weight, and I'm just kind of curious. And this is like a non-fighter take, just how he'll perform like that. And I didn't realize like these two sports are different. But one thing that happened to me when I got to that you hear a lot about with particularly boy athletes when they get to college is they try and get them to bulk up and put on weight and muscle. And what I experienced with that was like I felt I didn't necessarily feel very athletic or quick or have like, my muscles didn't feel like they were as snappy as before. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any sort of like, Islam Makhachev has any like seems a little sluggish or slow. And I'm sure, he'll be firing on all cylinders regardless.
I
But if
think I think he'll be doing good because walking around, he's actually kind of more similar to my height and weight. He's around like 190 pounds, and granted, he's like 5'10", but he's a pretty solidly built guy, and he's had to cut down a lot to go down to lightweight. That division is around like the 155 range, so he had to cut a lot of weight for that. So he might actually, like, in some ways be faster, but I just don't know with JDM having a little bit more experience in this weight class, it's going to be really interesting. I kind of want Islam Makhachev to lose, also just because I do want to see him go back to the lightweight because the lightweight division is just getting even more interesting. We have a lot of like good names coming up. And it's a good time to be a part of both the welterweight and the lightweight division right now. I was really surprised to see that he vacated his title, but in the end, we will see what happens. But it should be a really exciting card for everyone watching. But yeah, uh, good. Good card. Very, very, very excited to see it. Anything else you want to add?
no, I think I'm good for right now. Particularly
I
college
mean,
basketball, there's not really much to cover unless you can cover some of it. We can cover a little bit if you.
I mean, the only thing that I really want to cover is UNC got a pretty big win over Kansas. UNC looking pretty good. Caleb Wilson, freshman, is looking really good. Probably one of the best freshmen in the ACC right now. 24 points in his game against Kansas. This UNC team's looking a lot better than they did last year. I'm pretty excited to see where they're going to be going. UNC remains undefeated with their win against Kansas, and also the other night the win against Radford. Um, so they look pretty good. My whole prediction was if UNC is able to exit like this for like go into conference play with only two losses, we're in a good spot, and it's looking more likely that that's going to happen. Kansas was a big question mark for me, but now next big games on the schedule are going to be Michigan State and Kentucky back to back. But we'll see how those go. Can't take anything. Got to take everything on a game by game basis. On Friday, UNC will be playing North Carolina Central. So we'll see what happens, and we will be giving updates on any major events that conspire while we're mainly focusing on football.
As far as state goes, I mean, they've had a good start to the season. They're 3-0. Always good. Wins over NC Central, where they won 114-66. They beat UAB, who was coached by a former NC State player, 94-70, and they beat UNC Greensboro today 110-64. I mean, they've looked good so far. They haven't really played anyone. I mean, UNC Greensboro sometimes can be interesting, but they look good. First really big, I'd say, respectable team they've played is VCU. We've got VCU on Friday. Then end of next week, we've got a interesting one. I picked them to finish bottom of the conference, but NC State will be facing their first Power Five opponent. Well, I'll cover it next week, but I'll just give a little sneak peek. NC State will be playing Seton Hall of the Big East in 2 weeks' time, so that'll definitely be an interesting that we'll have to check out. Yeah, that's all I've got as far as that goes. All good on your end?
Yep.
All right, well, that should do it for us here at Tobacco Road and Abroad. We really appreciate you listening. This episode should be going out relatively quickly. I'll think of a thumbnail, so not just like a generic thumbnail. I'll think of a funny thumbnail for this one. We're starting to do some fun thumbnails. The one for last week I've had some difficulties with, but that should be going out soon. College basketball conference preview will be going out soon as well. That's pretty much done. Outside of one thing I have to edit. Just kind of make sure it's all cleaned up and good to go. But we thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next week.